We're back out at the beautiful Banner shooting range for yet another exciting Bodyguard 2 carry comp versus video. I actually got to looking at our videos and I was a little surprised that we never had the Bodyguard 2 nor the Bodyguard 2 carry comp go head to head against the Ruger Security 380. Well, today is the day for at least half that, where the Security 380 is going to go head to head against the Bodyguard 2 carry comp. Unfortunately, on two fronts today, the range has been invaded by little green UFO targets. You can tell that they're UFOs because the green skin is translucent and we can see their bones through their skin. So we're going to have to help purge the range of this problem. Though the double unfortunate side is they have zapped the battery on target cam, so we can't actually see the hits as they happen. But don't worry, when range goes cold, I'll walk down and get some pictures with cell phone cam, and I'll fill you in on how we did. So here we go. I'm going to do a 12-round magazine with the Bodyguard 2 at our left-hand little green man target. For the first magazine from each firearm, I'll just do our standard, what's becoming normal now, the instinct or point shooting, and I'll tell you how many hits we get on the target. I'll then shoot, we'll say, a 15-round magazine from the Security 380 at the right-hand target, and compare the results. Here we go. Okay, we have a few in the rib cage, 2 in the left arm, 1 in the left shoulder, 1 just above the left shoulder. It looks like the rest of the hits, though I can't see them very well, so we're definitely going to need cell phone cam for this, are hopefully in the rib cage of that UFO target. Let's do a 15 round magazine with the Security 380 at our right hand UFO target. Here we go. Okay, it looks like we got 2 in the right shoulder, 1 in the left hip. I'm going to speculate the rest of them, again, we'll need to use our cell phone cam for this, in the rib cage of that alien target. And what I'm going to do is, for these next magazines, I'm actually going to articulate the slide when loading the firearm. The reason being is the Security 380 is a light rack, low recoil firearm, and I want to be able to compare how easy it is to rack our Bodyguard 2 carry comp and cock the striker compared to the Security 380 and cocking its internal hammer. So what we'll do here is I have another 12-round magazine for the Bodyguard 2 carry comp. I will use the sights this time, and I will aim at the cranium zone of our target. Same thing, I will shoot the cranium zone with our Security 380, though only a 10-round magazine. Here we go. For a minute there, I thought it was 10. It turns out 12 is a different number from 10. Okay, 1 off the left ear, 2 at the hairline above the left eye, and it looks like the remaining 9 are in the cranium zone of that target. Quite a few of them right between the eyes. Here we go. Security 380 right hand target. As expected, much easier to articulate the slide on the Security 380 compared to the Bodyguard 2 Carry Comp, though I would say the Bodyguard 2 Carry Comp not at quite as demanding as what I would say on the original Bodyguard, which could come down to those serration changes, at least for me, that we've talked about in previous videos. Here we go, 10 shots at that cranium zone. Okay, looks like all 10 are from the Adam's apple up to about the, looks like the eye line on the right hand UFO target. Let's briefly talk about the two firearms in today's video. Some people are probably going to complain about how it's not fair. This isn't an apples to apples comparison between these firearms. They're very different. And we're not saying they're not different. They are in fact very different. Probably about as different as you can get without going to a revolver or a different caliber. Our Bodyguard 2 Carry Comp, it would be a micro compact, pocketable, striker fired 380, double stack magazine fed. It does come with the 10 and a 12 round magazine. It's a very narrow, light firearm, very concealable, very easy to carry. Probably a little more demanding in terms of articulating the slide, certainly compared to our Ruger Security 380. The trigger is very good, being a striker fired trigger. Sights are, well, they're better than the original Bodyguard 2, but I would say they're not my preferred sights, but they're certainly good enough. They are Ameriglow Tritium night sights. Our Security 380, it would be a compact 380, a wider, bigger, heavier 380. It's advertised as light rack, low recoil. It is very easy to articulate the slide on this firearm. It certainly fulfills that light rack requirement. And combine that with being a 380, it is very mild on the recoil. The double stack magazines are very easy to load. Probably the easiest to 380 double stack magazines to load. Certainly of any that I've fired anyway. This one, the version that I have, came with a 10 and a 15 round magazine. I believe there are some distributor exclusive. It comes with 215. And if you live in a restricted state, you get 2 10 round magazines. The slide has these slide lightning cuts, which are to help lighten the weight of the slide, and maybe a little to the cosmetic flair on the firearm. The trigger is Ruger's secure action trigger, which, while I'm not a big fan of it, it's certainly adequate for its intended use. This firearm is internal hammer fired compared to striker fired on the Bodyguard 2, and at least one advantage of being internal hammer fired with that secure action trigger is, similar to a striker fired trigger, from your first trigger pull to your last trigger pull is going to be the same consistent trigger pull. So at least you don't have to train transitioning from a double action to a single action trigger pull on this firearm. The sights on the Security 380 are a high visibility fiber optic front sight with an anti-glare rear sight. That front sight is a very big fiber optic dot, which on one hand makes it easy to get on target, though in my opinion, that dot is so large that when you're trying to do a pinpoint precision shot, it's a little challenging because the dot covers up much more of your target. Now, will that come into play in the second half of our video when we're shooting at these small targets? Well, we're about to find out. So what I was going to say before the range went cold on us is, as hard as it is to believe, the Ruger Security 380 you can find in many stores at $299 or around that $300 ballpark. The Bodyguard 2 Carry Comp is more like in that $499, what we'll call the $500 ballpark. So even though smaller pistol, which, back in the day when cell phones were tiny, you'd pay a premium for a tiny cell phone. The world kind of goes back and forth, but there's about a $200 price difference between these two firearms, even though They fire the same ammo. They have very similar capacity, etc. So for our second half of the video today, what we're going to do is the first part, I'm going to do a partial magazine from each firearm. Would the Bodyguard have 8 shots? With the Security 380, 9 shots. These are leftovers from some boxes, so not exactly identical numbers. And because I shoot the Security 380 less often, I've given it a 1-round advantage. And what I'll do is, we're going to do our one-handed shooting. I put some 8-inch targets out there. With the Bodyguard, I'll do 4 shots right-handed, 4 shots left-handed. At the left-hand target, with the Security 380, I'll do 4 shots right-handed, 5 shots left-handed at the right-hand target. So here we go. Let's see if I can put any hits on these targets today. It looks like 3 of 4 right-handed. Let's see if we can match that left-handed, or hopefully do better. Okay. I think we have a triple on the target, like a full-on Frosty the Snowman. We did 3 of 4 left-handed, 3 of 4 right-handed. I'd say things finally match right-handed to left-handedly for once. Usually, or I should say as of late in these videos, the left-handed has been my arch nemesis. All right, here we go. Security 380, right hand. And remember, it'll have a 1-round advantage in the left-handed portion. Here we go. Okay, my first shot was a little low of the target. My second shot was in the 8 ring. Third shot, almost touching the bullseye. Fourth shot in the bullseye. So 3 of 4 on the target, though. 1 in the bullseye, 1 just off the bullseye. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we did 7 of 9 on the, so maybe 4 or 5 left-handed, 3 of 4 right-handed. It's theoretically possible. We'll have to check this when I walk down and get a picture. On the right side of the target at about 3 o'clock, that might be a double hit. And if so, that means we went 5 of 5 left-handed. Good times. To finish out the day, now we're going to do that target that I'm going to show you the details of now. With target cam out of commission, I'm going to show you the target that we're going to be shooting for the second half of the video today. The sequence that we will be shooting is I will do 3 shots at the center target, 3 shots at the small left hand, 3 shots at the top, 3 shots at the right hand small target for a total of 12 shots. We'll do this with both firearms. I'll probably do the Bodyguard 2 at the top, Security 380 at the bottom, but when we get there, I'll let you know. I will be doing the Bodyguard 2 at the top set of targets. So let's see how many hits, if any, I can put on those targets out there. And I'll just use my normal 2-handed grip. Okay, that's almost a dead center bullseye. I don't see any hits on our little challenge targets. And there were a couple instances where the slide thought about not going into battery, but then it changed its mind and was like, all right, I'll go into battery. So it might be time to clean the Bodyguard 2 carry comp. Here we go. Let's see if I can match that. Hopefully match the big target hit with the Security 380 and then actually do better, hopefully, on our little 1-inch targets out there. Here we go. Okay, looks like only one hit on the bigger target. Okay, it looks like also with the Security 380, we went 0 for 9 on our 1-inch targets. I'll walk out there when the range gets cold and I'll get a picture. And what I would say is on the second and third little target with the Bodyguard, I was a little bit off. Some of that, I'm going to say, is the slow return to battery got me out of rhythm. On the Security 380, on all 3 targets, while I didn't hit those little targets, I wasn't far off. So Ed might go to the Security 380. In the first half of today's video, we saw 2 firearms well suited to the task of eliminating the alien infestation at the range. They put effective hits on the UFO targets when both point shooting and using the sights. In the latter half of today's video, well, we struggled to hit those 1-inch targets, but that's mostly on the shooter. Mostly, but not 100%. With the front sight of the Security 380 being so large, I find it difficult to make that pinpoint shot due to how large the dot is and it completely obscuring the target. It appears much larger than the target at that range. For the Bodyguard 2 carry comp, the cheapest range ammo we shot today, it induced some slow to return to battery conditions, which threw me out of rhythm. That's my story and I'm sticking to it anyway. I didn't have that slow battery condition when shooting some other ammo off camera, but I still cleaned the carry comp because, well, it's probably due for it anyway. At the beginning of today's video, I commented that these 2 firearms occupy different ends of the 380 spectrum. You could go as far as to say they're the kings of their end of the ballpark. The Bodyguard 2 carry comp is one of, if not the best pocketable 380s available today. Some might say the original Bodyguard 2 is king. Well, we can call the original number 1 and the carry comp 1A. The carry comp is accurate, reliable, easy to carry, with a very good capacity for a pistol its size. Thanks to the low bore axis, ported barrel, and the compensated slide, it has very mild recoil for a pocket 380. Be it in a pocket, an inside waistband, or some other carry position, the carry comp is very concealable. For all its advantages, For one segment of the 380 marketplace, it probably comes up short, kind of like Fred's little tiny corgi legs. The aged shooter, or those who have hand strength or mobility challenges, are likely to find it less than desirable. The combination of a fairly stout recoil spring to go along with very thin build make it a challenge for some to articulate the slide or to find a comfortable grip that allows them to shoot straight. Enter the Ruger Security 380. Being the larger pistol in the compact class instead of the micro compact class, and well, it's designed to have an easy to rack slide and easy to handle recoil. The Ruger Security 380 has answered that call. The larger size and less recoil make it easier to shoot, particularly one-handed, as we saw in the second half of today's video. The carry comp was shootable one-handed, but not nearly as shootable as the Ruger Security 380. While not quite as concealable as the Bodyguard 2s, the Security 380 is still a size that make it easy to be carried. To go along with easy rack slide and the low recoil, the Security 380 is accurate, reliable, and has very good capacity, especially in free states where 15-round magazines are available. Speaking of magazines, those magazines just might be the easiest 380 magazines to load. To sum things up, today we saw two excellent 380s, and no matter what ballpark you live in, they're proving great options exist. So what do you think of the Security 380 and the Bodyguard 2 carry comp? Do you prefer one over the other? Let us know in the comments which and why. Well, anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, like it, share it with your friends and family. Those things are free, and they really help the channel greatly. If you didn't enjoy today's presentation, like it anyway. It helps us out a lot, and no one's going to know you did it. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice night.